As slavery and Reconstruction ended, the lives of the freedmen in the South continued to be difficult. Even though blacks were legally free, they still faced many uphill battles in attempting to gain acceptance by white Southern society, and ultimately equality. Two men with very different ideas worked early on to try and help African Americans achieve this goal. They did it through education. They are Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois. Both Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois were early leaders trying to advance African American rights in the South during the rise of Jim Crow laws and heavy discrimination through separate but equal. They came from very different backgrounds, but both had the same goal: work to make African Americans self-sufficient and earn a place in society. The way in which they believed this could be achieved varied between them. This was because of their personal lifestyles and background. Booker T. Washington was born a slave in southwestern Virginia in 1856. It is believed that his biological father was a white man who never took responsibility for him. Pretty typical scenario during slavery. Washington gained his freedom when he was 9 after Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation during the Civil War. He moved to West Virginia with his mother so she could join her husband, who had previously escaped slavery and settled there. Because of his family's poverty, he started working at the age of 9 at a salt furnace and then also at a coal mine. At the time, because of slavery, he was illiterate. He couldn't read or write, so he spent many hours teaching himself. He eventually enrolled in a college that was established by the Freedmen's Bureau. W.B. Du Bois was born in 1868, after the abolishment of slavery, and raised in Massachusetts. His family had lived in Massachusetts for generations in a small, free black community and even owned land when he was born. Du Bois was privileged to attend the all-black college at Fisk University in Tennessee, a school also created by the Freedmen's Bureau, and then continued his education, eventually getting his doctorate from Harvard. He was the first black man to do this at Harvard. Du Bois then became a professor at Atlanta University and eventually became one of the founders of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, also known as the NAACP, an organization that is still around today that works towards equal rights for African Americans. Booker T. Washington became the leader of what is now the Tuskegee Institute. Washington's goal was to train individuals to teach others skills needed in the black community. It was his belief that by teaching blacks practical skills, they would be able to become a part of the community and eventually be accepted, or at least tolerated, by the white community because they would be viewed as reliable, responsible American citizens. W.B. Du Bois, on the other hand, believed the best way for African Americans to gain respect and equal rights was through an academic education. In other words, Du Bois believed it was through intelligence that the black community would be able to become a part of the political world, thus being able to make changes for African Americans. He wrote often of the injustice of separate but equal, and pushed for change through academic intelligence. Therefore, even though both men were working toward the same goal of seeing African Americans being more of a part of white society, they differed in how they would get there. Washington focused more on practical skills of an industrial-style education, whereas Du Bois believed an academic education was better suited to achieve this goal. Over the next several days, we will be analyzing this debate, and you will use evidence to determine which path was better for African Americans. Any questions? Be sure to bring them to class so I can clarify them. See you soon.